there's definitely some ego involved in saying, hey, I want to start a podcast and call it my own name, or start a podcast and interview people. Like, you're the one who's making that decision, and you're almost believing in that moment that you should be on the stage. But then if you could use that to be on that stage for good and to help people and bring people up, then it makes the whole process fun, and it makes it worthy, and it takes a little bit of the ego out of it. And that's a good thing. So
Yeah, can I
you
just add
mentioned,
one thing?
yeah,
Can I
go
just add
for
one
it.
thing on ego? Because I think that's such a great point. And I think why both of us love podcasts is because there's room for the nuance, right? Like one of the phrases of taglines of my podcast Create Lab is in an age of black and white headlines, the magic is in the gray, right? And that's what I love, because we're so used to seeing these like top 10 lists and clickbaity titles where people are just writing stuff to get ad clicks essentially, and like I hate that, and that's the negative part of the internet. Whereas the good part of the internet is conversations like this, where we can have a deep, great conversation, and someone's listening to this walking their dog and they're feeling like they're in a room with us, and that is magical that we can have that. And the ego part is something I've thought quite a lot about, because ego, generally speaking, people think of that as a negative thing, right? But my opinion on it is ego is just something that can be used in a positive or negative way. So ego is the thing that makes you flip a chair and say like F everyone and like do some crazy stuff. But ego is also what allows you to go and ask for a raise at work, or ask your girlfriend to become your fiance, or whatever, like those things. So you can channel things in a certain way with the ego too. But I think the hard part is really, doing things to like practice owning that ego and steering it in the right direction.
So what are the ways that you've helped steer the ego in the right direction? Is there anything
Yeah,
practical
great
you've done?
question. Yeah, I guess I think it's the first part is just becoming aware of it, and that is the hardest part with anything, is just becoming, I don't want to sound like I'm super zen, but just when you become so mindful that you are realizing what's happening and practicing that feeling of, oh, this is about to happen, and predicting how you're going to react to something, and then taking a step back before you do something crazy and say, okay, what's taking, why am I feeling like this? Why am I going to take this action? Why am I going to say what I'm going to say? Is it because of the negative part of the ego, or is it, okay, there's a part of the ego that I'm happy to push through? So I'd say, stuff like, again, sounds kind of cliche nowadays, but like journaling regularly, writing regularly, collecting your thoughts regularly. For some people, that's meditation. For other people, that's going for a run. But people who aren't afraid to spend time with themselves and understand themselves, and have conversations like these where you ask a great question, it makes me think about it. So yeah, I'd say it's more just self-reflection and becoming aware of your own flaws, is kind of the skill that you're developing.